Have you ever loved someone so deeply that you started to lose yourself in the process? You gave them your time, your energy, your heart, and somehow it still wasn't enough. They walked away, leaving you questioning what you did wrong, wondering why love always seems to hurt the ones who give the most. We live in a world obsessed with the idea of finding love. Every movie, every song, every social media post tells us it's the ultimate goal, the key to happiness. But what if that's the very illusion that keeps us trapped? What if this endless chase for love is the reason we suffer, the reason we keep feeling empty, the reason we never find peace? He grew up in Renaissance Italy, a place of brilliant art and brutal politics. And Niccolò Machiavelli learned early that people often act far from the noble image painted in stories. Where poets saw honor and princes preach virtue, Machiavelli saw bargaining, fear, ambition, and survival. His writing strips the rose-colored lens away and asks a hard question. How do people actually behave when power and desire are on the line? When the prince landed in the world, many recoiled because he refused to dress harsh truths in comforting language. He didn't celebrate cruelty, he celebrated honesty about human motives. He argued that people tend to act from self-interest more often than from selfless love, and that understanding this simple fact is far more useful than clinging to comforting myths. This doesn't mean Machiavelli was a monster. It means he was realistic. He studied how rulers kept their states together, how allies betrayed one another, and how flatterers and favorites shifted fortunes overnight. Those lessons translate easily into our private lives. Friendships fray, romances cool, and loyalties bend not because someone is inherently evil, but because people respond first to what benefits them. So when we read Machiavelli today, we should stop picturing coat of arms and crowns and start seeing everyday choices. Who shows up when things get hard, who stays when there is nothing to gain, and who leaves when convenience calls. His insight isn't about crushing hope, it's about forging clearer eyes. If we accept that many acts are driven by self-interest, we can protect ourselves, choose relationships more wisely, and love without losing our sense of self. It's a hard mirror to hold up, but breaking the illusion of romantic fantasy lets us build boundaries and strength. Listen closely, this realism can free you, truly liberating. Machiavelli understood something that still makes people uncomfortable today. Love, in its purest form, is rarely selfless. He believed human nature is built around self-interest. People love because it gives them something: comfort, validation, a sense of belonging, or even a sense of control. That doesn't make love meaningless, but it does mean it's not as innocent as we like to believe. When he wrote, "People love at their convenience but fear at all times," he wasn't being cruel, he was being honest. Love can be powerful, but it's often conditional. People stay when love feels good, when it feeds their ego, when it benefits them. But when it demands too much or stops serving their needs, that love starts to fade. If you look at relationships today, you can see exactly what Machiavelli meant. Many people don't fall in love because of deep understanding, they fall because they're lonely, or because someone fills a temporary void. They want to feel desired, not necessarily to connect on a soul-deep level. That's why so many relationships collapse when the excitement fades. The truth is, when you chase love, you hand over your power. You start to act from fear of losing someone, fear of being alone, fear of not being enough. And when the other person senses that desperation, your value in their eyes begins to drop. Machiavelli warned that love given too freely loses its strength. The more you give without boundaries, the less it's appreciated. Respect, however, changes everything. People are drawn to those who respect themselves, those who don't beg for attention, but quietly command it. In a world obsessed with chasing love, it's the calm, grounded, self-assured person who ends up being truly desired. So why do we keep running after the very love that ends up breaking us? Why do we give everything to someone who barely meets us halfway? It's because deep down, every human being craves one thing: to be accepted. We all want to feel seen, understood, and chosen. There's something intoxicating about knowing someone looks at you and decides you're worth it. That feeling becomes addictive. It's why we ignore the red flags, why we tolerate disrespect, and why we keep holding on to people who no longer hold us. But here's the painful truth: when you rely on others for validation, you hand them the power to destroy you. Every compliment lifts you up, but every rejection crushes you. You start living at the mercy of someone else's approval. Machiavelli understood this vulnerability long before psychology ever named it. He would say, never depend on the goodwill of others. Build your own strength. Because when your worth depends on someone's affection, you become easy to control, easy to hurt, and easy to forget. In modern life, this advice is gold. Stop trying so hard to be loved. Start focusing on becoming someone worthy of respect. Respect is earned through self-discipline, confidence, and independence. Love that grows from respect is stable. Love that grows from need is fragile. When you shift your focus inward, when you build your own strength first, you'll stop chasing what hurts you and start attracting what aligns with who you truly are. Machiavelli lived in a world ruled by kings and soldiers, but today, power looks different. It's no longer about armies or thrones, it's emotional. In every relationship, there's an invisible balance of power. One person chases, the other withdraws. One gives endlessly, the other takes it for granted. And this balance quietly decides who stays, who leaves, and who ends up heartbroken. When you stop chasing, everything changes. You take back control, you stop acting out of fear and start moving from strength. That calm, steady energy, that's what people notice. It's rare and it's powerful. You see, people are drawn to those who don't need them, but choose them. It's not manipulation, it's maturity. Emotional independence is knowing that your peace doesn't depend on someone else's attention. When you have that kind of inner stability, you naturally command respect and attraction. Machiavelli would have called it strategy today. We call it self-respect. Because real love can only exist between two strong individuals, not between a chaser and a runner. When both people stand on equal ground, love stops being a game of control. It becomes a partnership built on balance, strength, and choice. This is where philosophy comes together. Machiavelli's realism meets the calm strength of Stoicism. Both understood one timeless truth. You can't control others, only yourself. The Stoics believed that peace comes from mastering your inner world, not from trying to fix the outer one. Machiavelli, in his own way, agreed. He never told people to manipulate emotions. He told them to understand them, to stay calm when others panic, to stay grounded when others lose control. That's real power, not dominance over people, but discipline over yourself. When you master your emotions, something shifts. The chaos around you no longer dictates how you feel. Love doesn't break you anymore because it's not your foundation. It's a part of your life, not the center of it. You still care, you still feel deeply, but you're no longer at the mercy of every rejection or disappointment. That's what true emotional freedom looks like. You stop reacting and start responding. You move through life with quiet confidence, knowing that your strength comes from within. And when you live like that, love stops being a battlefield. It becomes peace, because you've already conquered the only territory that truly matters, yourself. So stop chasing love. Stop pouring your soul into people who haven't earned the right to hold it. Understand this: people are imperfect. They're driven by fear, by desire, by self-interest. That's not bitterness, that's reality. But here's the beauty within that truth: once you accept it, you're finally free. You stop expecting perfection and start focusing on what you can control, yourself. Love isn't meaningless, it just requires strength. Because only those who are strong inside can love deeply without losing who they are. Only those who master their emotions can give love without begging for it in return. Remember, your peace is your power, and your strength is your protection. As Aristotle once said, "He who conquers himself is greater than he who conquers a city." Let that sink in. True victory isn't about winning hearts, it's about mastering your own. If this video made you think differently about love and human nature, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. But before you go, I want to ask you something. Do you believe true love can exist without power? Or is every relationship just a balance of control and need? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below.